Hello and welcome to the Veterans Corner. The Veterans Corner is a show dedicated to our veterans, their families, and all those that support the veterans. My name is Chuck Woodin and I'll be your host. We have special guests today from the Berlin Veterans Commission. It's great to have you here. To my very right, we have Charles Calarisi. Charles is the chairman of the Berlin Veterans Commission.
Yes, sir.
Great to have you here,
Thank you.
Charles. And to my far right, we have Peter Galgano. Yep. He is the secretary for the commission. It's great to have you here. It really is. I know we've been talking about, or others have been talking about having you here for quite some time, and you're finally here. And hopefully, you know, you're going to be regulars on this show. But we like to start off the show, especially when we have veterans, to just ask, you know, where you served, what branch you were in, just briefly.
I was in the United States Marine Corps 1965 to 1967. I was stationed in North Carolina, Service Company 8th Engineers. I was a corporal and chief clerk in the office.
Peter?
Okay. You're lucky day because I'm also in the United States Marine Corps. Okay. Served from 1966 to 1970. I was at Cherry Point, North Carolina, and then Chu Lai, Vietnam.
I'm outnumbered. I'm Navy.
Well, you do know that the Marine Corps is the Department of the Navy.
Yeah.
The men's department.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
You got to smile.
On behalf of the Veterans Corner and all the viewers, we want to thank you very much for your service.
You're quite welcome.
We also thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, and it's great to have an organization like the Berlin Veterans Commission, because I know you guys do so much good in your community. Me being at one time the district commander for the American Legion, obviously that encompasses Berlin, you know, post 68 over there.
Yeah. Vinny Trujillo is the commander.
Yeah. Actually, Vinny's been on this show. Right. Vinny's actually the one that hooked us up.
Yes.
So, you know, it's long overdue. Long overdue. Let's jump right into this. There's a lot of stuff to cover. And as we were speaking earlier, we may have to make this a two-part series. And we do a lot of that. There's a lot of shows that there's just so much information that needs to be put out there. Peter, can you give us a history of the Berlin Veterans Commission?
Okay, the Berlin Veterans Commission was actually started in the town of Berlin around 1998, 1999, and it consists of 7 members, but it could be no more than 4 of any one political party.
Yeah.
And each term is a 3-year term, and they try to do everything in the town to recognize and help veterans in the town.
Yeah.
You know, we've actually have a lot of projects that we're going to talk about, and some of these bigger projects have only really been started around 2007. Actually, the park, which we're going to talk about later, took that long from 2006, 2007, trying to get it all together, and it wasn't dedicated to 2011. And then we added on other parts of it. So the commission helps vets in needs, and as you're also going to find out, we have help from the Berlin Fire Department, how we can help, I don't want to call them needy veterans, we'll call them veterans in need or who are going through hard times. We try to take care of each and every veteran in town.
Yeah. Now the Veterans Commission itself, so it's not a separate organization, it's actually part of the city hall or town hall?
Yes.
It's an actual part of the government.
It's part of the government.
It's part of boards and commissions.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you go to the town website and you go under government, and then under government you go boards and commissions, and you could go down to Veterans Commission.
That's good to know, because there's a lot of veterans, you know, councils, you know, that are separate from the government. In a lot of the communities, and it's
the town recognizes us.
Yeah, that's great. You know, I understand that the commission takes on the honorable task of placing flags on the veterans' grave sites throughout the town and all the cemeteries. How many veterans' graves are there? You know, I guess the question is, how many flags do you put out, and how many cemeteries are in Berlin?
Well, we have 11 cemeteries, Chuck, 4 which are still active. And with the help of the Boy Scouts this year, we placed close to 1,100 flags on the cemetery graves. And in each, we also have a grave marker that says U.S. Veteran.
Yep.
So that went in, we put those in about 3 years ago,
3
Peter?
years ago.
And now, before we used to have to take a map, or you had to look for the government stone.
Yeah.
Now, we did all the research, and we went to every cemetery, and one cemetery has almost 500 veterans in it. And so everyone is marked, so now we don't need a map, we just go down and we take them out, and then we watch the newspapers, and the people in the cemeteries will contact us when they have a military funeral, and we make sure we get a grave marker and a flag in there.
Yeah, it used to take 5 hours to even get just the Maple Hill with the 500 graves to be done. Now with the grave markers, we could do it inside of, with the help of the Boy Scouts, 45 minutes to an hour tops. But
we have cemeteries from the French and Indian War. We have veterans from the French and Indian War, a lot of Civil War veterans, the old the brownstone,
Yep.
and it's all gone, so I had to take tracing paper, and I could find the wife of,
Yep.
so I said, well, this one has to be
Yeah.
the veteran, and that's how we found a lot of them. But
That's a lot of research.
It's a lot, and then we have one cemetery that just has one veteran in it. But we have a log now, we keep a log going,
Yep.
so it's on a computer in case something ever happens.
Yeah, you don't want to risk losing
Starting
all that
all over.
research. You know, you may
Yeah,
run
it was
into
a big project.
Run into a situation where you may not have enough people to take that role on and a task on to do all the research that you have done.
Yeah.
Peter, we had mentioned about the Veterans Park. Now, for those that don't know, I've got a pretty good idea where it is. Where is the Veterans Park located in Berlin?
okay, the easiest way to have people recognize or know where it is to go to, if they know where Stop and Shop in Berlin is, right off of Farmington Avenue. And then that's from one direction. And then you can also, if you're driving up Farmington Avenue, there's a Miserio Drive.
Yep.
And right on this, depending which way you come from, left or right, you're going to pass the VFW.
Yep.
And you go to the very next street, which is just renamed Veterans Way, and the park is right there on the left. You keep on going straight, Stop and Shop would be on the right. And what's unique about the park is where we have our main monument with the flags, you're going to see 2 granite stones, and to the left one is for the American Legion, because facing the monument, the American Legion is right to the left. You could actually see it from the park. And then the VFW is on the right, and you look to the right, you can see the VFW. So it's actually in a perfect location for all veterans and veterans' family to come see.
Yeah. I mean, whenever one is doing a function, the park is right there.
Yes.
Yes.
It's.
We just had a concert last Thursday night, and everybody was able to come to the park and bring their lawn chairs and everything.
You really can't miss it because you got all the flags. If you just go in the back of Stop and Shop, you can see it.
Right.
If you're coming in from the street that you were talking about, I know it very well, but the street names I don't know.
Yeah.
But you just look for the flags. Each branch, I believe, the U.S. flag, POW. I think I only visited it a couple times.
The American flag, POW, MIA, and then each branch service going around, which Charles will also talk about when he talk about the bricks later on.
Yeah, it's we had I was talking to you about it. You just recently did some renovations on one of the gazebos. Was there vandalism or something?
Yes. Back in 2012, the Berlin Lions Club donated a gazebo. And it was the gazebo type that you would put in your backyard. It was fiberglass railings. Well, some of the kids, I guess, had nothing to do, and they started kicking out the spindles. which were easy to do. I mean, it wasn't built for like commercial use.
Yeah.
And the town would go and fix it, and they'd knock them out again. So it got so bad last year, we went to a local contractor in town, Paul Welding, and 3 brothers, and they live in the town of Berlin. And I went to them and I asked them if they could draw up a plan and make something vandal-proof. Well, they came back and they powder-coated heavy-duty aluminum and have these railings installed now where they cannot be vandalized at all. There's no maintenance on them because they're powder-coated.
Yeah.
And they did all this work and only charge us for the material. They've donated all their labor. And in the meantime, the Berlin Lions Club saw what we were doing, and they donated half the cost to us.
Great.
So the project was about $9,000, and the Lions Club stepped up and gave us $4,500.
You gave the local walk-in clinic some business. There's going to be a lot of broken toes coming in.
If they're going to have to take that gazebo down with a truck now. That's how well built these are. But it was so nice for them to come forward and volunteer their labor.
Yeah.
So it helped us out a lot. And then we were very surprised the Lions Club helped us out too. So
Now that's in the same location. It's pretty much you just
where the water by the pond.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
and that's more over toward, if I remember right, toward the VFW. Am I thinking right?
It's on the
Yeah.
VFW side,
Yeah.
but it's more towards where Stop and Shop would be.
Yes.
It's on the
Yeah.
right-hand side of the pond that's right behind it.
Okay. Like I said, it's been a while, but I remember a gazebo being there.
Right.
You know, you were talking about the band the other night that was playing there. Is there a Northeast Navy Band concert coming up?
Yes, Peter.
Yes. The Northeast Navy Band is actually coming for the third time. It's very first time we had at the gazebo, and we had people with lawn chairs and everything. And then the year after, because of prior commitments that they had to go to, they couldn't come early enough in the season. So they came third or fourth week in September. So we had it inside, was it McGee School?
McGee School.
McGee
Middle School, yeah.
So, and this made the Navy so proud that they could either do an outdoor concert or an indoor concert, even in the bad weather.
Yeah.
And they're actually, and it's a full, I forget the actual name. I didn't write it down.
It's jazz music, it's popular rock music, and some military music too. They play everything.
Yeah, it's about 30
yeah, at least 30
in the band. They give quite a concert. And
that should be impressive.
it is.
Yeah.
They're all in the Navy white uniforms.
All dressed in their blues and
You said Navy, right?
Navy. Yeah,
Okay.
Navy.
That's what makes them so good. I told you, I was only joking around with you before.
I'm outnumbered. I just try to throw a little jab in there,
It's
just a
okay.
small one.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like I said, I'm outnumbered here. But yeah, it's. I mean, that's on October 24th.
Yep, October 24th, and it's going to be their third appearance here. And every time they come, we get 200 to 300, if not 400 people come. We give whatever the concert is, we give it to the public or residents or whoever wants to come for free.
Yeah.
So if there's money involved, we raise the money, we pay for the band. The Navy Band, because it is the Berlin Veterans Memorial Park or the Commission, they actually don't charge us. So we just supply them with coffee and some food.
We have to feed them, that's all.
And it's just, like I said, you really can't beat the Navy.
Well, it goes back to the old days where everybody's chipping in for the same common goal. Not everybody's got their hands out. Now that starts that's on the 24th of October.
Correct.
Yep.
What time does that start?
Usually 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7?
Yeah.
All right. I'm asking this so any of the viewers are interested. And actually between now and then, because of the other activities that we're going to be talking about, I'd really like to have you guys back to really go into a lot of those events.
Absolutely.
So and it's just great exposure. But they can write it on their calendars now for the fall for a great time. But as with any any veterans organization and commissions, and I'm sure you guys are involved with the Memorial Day Parade, the Veterans Day ceremonies. How are you guys involved? I mean, you guys are running it?
Well, that's one of the charges of the Veterans Commission,
Yeah.
is to do a ceremony for Veterans Day and hold a parade for Memorial Day. We always had our Memorial Day Parade on Monday, the actual holiday.
Yeah.
We were rained out 3 of the last 4. So we went to the town hall, we went to a council meeting, and we told them we would like to move it to Saturday and have a rain date of Monday. We also went to the police department. We checked with the park department, and we form at St. Paul's Catholic Church. And we wanted to make sure there were no weddings or anything that day. So we moved it to Saturday. We had a gorgeous day, and it's about 1.5 miles, Peter? And it goes right down Farmington Avenue, the main drag, and it was just nothing but people lined up. The merchants came out, they sold coffees, the bakery sold, Subway sold, whatever, the ice cream shops were out there. The people were just lined up, and the veterans, we had quite a few Korean veterans in World War II, and obviously they couldn't march, so we had Vinny had his truck all set up with American Legion and all that stuff, and just to hear the applause from the people.
Yeah, it's I was smiling a little bit when you were talking about changing the day because of the rainouts. Back in 2015, I kind of took over the Forestville Memorial Day Parade, and we formed a committee. A lot of it is with the American Legion Post 209 in Forestville, the new post. And we're trying to get folks from the community, have a community committee, so they have some say in it. But yeah, you're right. 2 years in a row, rained out on Monday. We actually this last year we changed it to Sunday. Being on a Sunday, we had to jack the time up to 2 o'clock so it didn't affect the churches in the area.
Right.
And we kept the rain date on Monday at 2 o'clock, so there was no confusion as far as times. But when you're doing that, you can't always get all the participants the next day or on the rain date.
Right.
We ran into that this year. So this year, Sunday, what did it do? It rained. We went with it. We lost a few participants, but we'd have lost even more if we had it on Monday. So the rain date is nice. But it's unfortunately that you can't always get everybody there.
Right.
So even if it's raining, you kind of got to run it. Whereas the last 2 years we canceled it.
Yeah. We have the high school band and the middle school band, and they look forward to it.
Yeah.
And by canceling, and then we have, oh my God, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the Cub Scouts. We had all the karate schools in town. We had
Little leagues.
Little leagues, football,
Yep.
soccer. I mean, it was all kids, just kids, and all the adults throw candy for all the kids that are on the side, and it's just, really great.
It was the largest parade we've ever had, and probably because it was on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, on Monday, the actual Memorial Day, I mean, you've got a lot of people that planning get-togethers with the families, and a lot of families come in from out of state.
Well, we do ours at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's usually over by the time our ceremony's over, and we have refreshments by 11 o'clock. It's
At the
done.
latest, yeah.
And then Veterans Day, we just have a ceremony on the 11th at 11 o'clock in November, and we have it at the
11/11.
memorial. And we get the high school trumpeters to do taps for us.
Right.
We have the Magical Chorus. They sing American Beautiful.
Berlin Magical Singers from the high school.
They do start off with a Pledge of Allegiance, and then they sing the Star Spangled Banner, and then we do taps.
The high school band also has a jazz saxophone quartet that they play military music too.
Nice.
So Memorial Day, the whole band plays, the marching band, and then Veterans Day.
Just an ensemble.
The segment of the band.
And we get good turnouts. For that last year, I think we had about 300 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
And that is a good turnout.
Yeah.
Charles, the gift cards. We were talking about the gift cards. Peter was talking about the gift cards.
We are very fortunate the Berlin Volunteer Fire Department. We have 4 volunteer fire departments in town, but the Berlin Volunteer Fire Department, they took this cause on about 3 years ago. They run a car show in August, and they gave us the proceeds of, they sell hot dogs, hamburgers, and it was like $1,500, $1,800, and they gave it to us in gift cards.
Yeah.
And we gave it to, like Peter said, they're not needy veterans, they're veterans in need.
Yeah.
Right.
This past year, they ran the car show, they ran a comedy night, and this year they're going to have a golf tournament also. They gave us $6,300.
Wow.
So instead of giving $50 gift cards to people, we were able to give $300, $400, $500.
Yeah.
That's
So
nice.
it made a difference for Christmas
Yeah.
present, and they give it to us our first meeting in December. So we try and get these
Actually,
out.
they walked in and we had no idea how much they were giving us, and then everybody had tears in their eyes. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then the veterans and the veterans' families that we give them to, it's just they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So it's
It's nice to see the organizations and the community as a whole pull together for that cause.
yes.
Well, this year they're shooting for $10,000.
You know,
So we're going to make a lot of, and there's about 25 vets in town that can use some help. So we're going to make some people happy.
There's a new gazebo that's being built at the park, right? Can you touch on that?
Okay, all right, our park has 2 sections, the one where the memorial is, the American Wars Walkway, and the Lions Club gazebo. And then we have a bridge that goes across to Phase 2, which we're still going to be working on. It has a gazebo there. But a lot of people come and they like to view the main monument where we have every branch of the service going around and bricks there. So we see these people, they come, they sit on the benches, they reflect. So it was actually Charles' idea. He says, you know what, we have a picnic table out there, but when it rains or the weather's not nice, let's work with the town and put a gazebo in. So the town went ahead and they actually helped us by pouring the 12 by 12.
We have a 12 by 14 pad, all poured.
And now Charles actually went today, and he's got some prices on a gazebo, and looks like we should have it done before the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Because give a place, because the people are coming.
Yeah.
I know we're out of time now, but we'll tell you next time about the American Wars Walkway and the Living Wall of Honor that we're
We have some
creating.
big projects coming up.
Well, you know, I know we didn't get a chance to talk about everything, and I know there's these are big items right here we didn't get a chance to talk about. So maybe I think there's a taping, and I think in about a month I might have an opening. Would you guys like to come back?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It would be great to. I mean, we like to talk about the Living Wall of Honor. More information. I mean that the viewers can get from you, and also the wreaths on all the memorials. But you know, it's unfortunately it's a 25-minute show, and you know there's only a certain amount of time, and all of a sudden the cameras get turned off. But you know, I want to thank you really for being here.
Well, we want to thank you for having us.
Yes, it's been a great opportunity.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and like I said, I like to have you guys regulars here. There's a couple things I got to cover first. We had a big problem. I'm going to talk to viewers for a minute. We had a big problem as far as a crew. Now, this is the first night where we got a full crew. This show is going to be going on for quite some time. On the cameras, we got Bob Getz, Matt Knowlton, Monique Melanson Hunter. In the control room, we've got the director, John Wright, who's been with me for 78 shows now. Audio is Bruce Barton. Graphics is Lizzie Crawford. Tech director is Joe Sanborn Jr. Our sponsors are the American Legion Post 209, the whole family, auxiliary, the Sons, the Riders, and of course the Post. And we had a generous donation from Pam Shea. So we'd like to thank all of them, thank our crew. Without them, the show couldn't come to you.